Hey everybody, it's the multifaceted mom, aka Lataya, and I am back with another video. So today I really just want to talk about, as everybody is talking about, the fact that 2025 is upon us, and it is time to set very intentional and purposeful goals for 2025. Honestly, ever since I can remember, I've always been a person that look forward to the new year, look forward to starting over, look forward to setting goals. And for the most part, I've accomplished about 50 to 75% of the goals that I've ever set for myself. Partly because some of the goals have already kind of been in the works. Part of the goals have been, or some of the goals have been things that I'm extremely passionate about and I'm kind of fed up with, because essentially sometimes those are driving forces for you accomplishing goals, is when you just honestly sick of yourself. So today in this video, I just really want to talk about how having a dream board is not enough. Now, I am all for creating a dream board. I've already created mine. It's already posted. However, one thing I will say is that a dream board is only kind of like the tip of the iceberg. It's like the icing on a cake. And I know a lot of people on TikTok have been talking about a bingo card, and I love the idea. Personally, I won't be doing a bingo card because it's just too much for me to do aside from setting the goals and accomplishing the goals. I think for me, it's a distraction. It's kind of an extra to do, but I do understand that some people might find it fun or a fun way to accomplish a certain goal, right? But for me, I think that, a dream board is really only like the icing on a cake, and it's really important to do the foundational work before you even do the dream board, right? So my steps for doing my dream board this year was writing down all of the goals that I want to accomplish in 2025. And then finding pictures that directly correlated with those goals to put on my dream board. But again, that's still just the top layer to actually accomplishing a goal. So today in this video, I want to just discuss how we can go beyond setting the dream board and actually accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish, actually being intentional about accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish, and not being one of those people that set goals every single year and never accomplishes them, or get halfway through the year and say, okay, I'm gonna start now, and still end up like drifting off. So I have a little outline so I do not get off track on my phone. So let's begin. So I think the first step is really creating a vision of where you see yourself in 10 years. I think 10 years is really like the base that you want to start, because 10 years is kind of like a whole decade, and a lot can happen in 10 years. So you really want to write down a vision and really take the time to figure out where you see yourself in 10 years and just work backwards from there. So for me, for example, I see myself honestly living in LA. I see myself waking up, getting a iced coffee, taking my dog and kids on a walk, having a couple clients for therapy, having a couple meetings for another business venture that I want to do, and just really having autonomy and freedom over my day. So, of course, from there, seeing that vision, how am I going to work backwards? And I think that people, when you see the overall vision of where you want to be, it helps you kind of set those goals for what you need to be doing now in order to accomplish the goals. Now, of course, you can't jump from 10 years to this year and say, well, what I'm doing now should directly impact my 10-year goal. However, if you go from your 10-year vision and you work backwards, now by working backwards, I mean, what can you do within 7 years that's going to get you to that 10-year goal? What can you do from 5 years, or in that 5 years, that's going to get you to that 7-year goal. And that's how you work backwards. And you do it pretty much from 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 7 years, and then 10 years, because that way it doesn't seem as daunting and you still feel like you're working towards your higher self, even in like the minuscule things that you're doing now. So for example, I want to be a vegan, and that is my long-term goal. However, I'm still on my weight loss journey. I still struggle to figure out certain foods that I like, things like that. So one of my goals for this year specifically is to do 1 week per month of doing vegan, which is really not hard for me, only because for one, I've already tried to do vegan a few times and have lasted some months, tried new recipes. It actually does help me with my weight loss because it kind of cleans my body. But with me wanting to be a vegan in the long term, this is actually a step in that direction, to start building my recipes, start building those habits now that I can have in order to, push me to where I want to be. And by building this whole like stack of recipes, this whole lifestyle, maybe next year, or in 5 or in 3 years, I can say, okay, for maybe half of the week, every single week, or half of the month, I'm gonna do vegan recipes. Maybe I might switch it and just say I might do 1 week of meat and non-vegan food for 1 week out the month. And now I'm kind of gearing, or I'm kind of shifting toward the life that I want to live in terms of how I want to eat. And of course, for me, I want to be a person that does juices, that has like, instead of taking Tylenol, I know other little hacks and stuff to take. Those are things that I might work toward in like year 5 and year 7, once I've mastered the eating, once I've mastered getting rid of like the junk food, figuring out how my body works with my hormones and my cravings. So if you have something like that, let's say like a goal that is really big, you want to break it down into smaller parts and figure out what can you do now in order to accomplish that 3-year goal that's connected to that long-term goal. So maybe you want to lose, I don't know, maybe you want to be a personal trainer, but you're like currently 300 pounds, right? You can still get to that personal trainer level. You, for one, have to believe that it can be done. But if you want to get to that personal training level, if you want to be a world speaker on childhood obesity, but you're still obese as an adult, okay, how can we work backwards? In 7 years, your goal can be to start a YouTube channel that has to do with, or actually not even to start a YouTube channel. Your goal in 7 years could be to develop a program for a child or for children to, overcome obesity. And then maybe within like 5 years, your goal is, hey, I have, 200 pounds that I need to lose. In 5 years, I want 200 of those pounds to be gone. So that means in 3 years, my goal is 100 pounds. And that means that within 1 year, let's try to do 30 pounds to 50 pounds. How am I also, which leads me to my next step, gonna break this 1 year into 12 weeks? Now, I don't know if y'all seen my last video. It was probably like a year ago, or probably 2 years ago, where I read this book called The 12-Week Year. And it really put into perspective how you can design setting up your goals and accomplishing your goals. So for the 12-week year, you want to break up a year into 12 weeks, because usually when you start the year off trying to set a goal, it kind of drifts off, right? But if you say, let's say my goal is to lose 50 pounds this year, but within the first 12 weeks of the year, I want to lose 25 of those pounds. So in order to lose 25 of those pounds in 12 weeks, I am going to do 3 things that have to do with my goal. I'm going to drink a gallon of water per day. I'm going to work out 5 days a week for 30 minutes. I am going to not eat after 8 p.m. So within those 12 weeks, you really want to keep score of how many times you are hitting every single mark. If you get 100% and you accomplish your goal of losing 25 pounds, good job. You've done that. You've accomplished that. You had that momentum from beginning of the 12 weeks to the end of the 12 weeks. But let's say if you get 80% and of those goals because you didn't drink your water intake every single day, like you said, and you can't mark that off of your checklist in terms of like if you got that done every single week of the 12 weeks, but you lost 22 pounds. Okay, you know where you fell short. You know that the result that you got directly correlated with the lack that you, or with the thing that you didn't do. So now for your next 12 weeks, you know, like, okay, this is what I need to get done. This is the momentum that I need to have. I need to really be trying to hit every single mark. The result that you want to accomplish needs to directly fall in line with the little things that you do every single day. So overall, you really want your 10-year vision to break down into 7, 5, 3, and 1 year, and that 1 year is gonna equate to 2025. How are you gonna break this next year of 2025 up into 12 weeks of every single quarter? Every single quarter, you need to be designating certain goals per quarter. So for me, for example, I want to own, in 10 years, I want to be a group private practice owner for therapy, right? I don't know if you guys know, but I have graduated with my master's in clinical mental health to become a perinatal therapist. So within the next year, my goal or actually, let's backtrack. With me wanting to be a therapist in a group practice, I want to be licensed in California, in Atlanta, in Texas, and Michigan, and a couple other states to serve a wide variety, a big community, right? But of course, I can't just do that overnight time. I can't set that goal and then not have any idea as to how to accomplish it within the next year. So I have to backtrack and say, okay, within the next 1 year, how can I do things that have to do with my long-term goal? For me, it's passing the national counseling exam. So that's my goal for the next 12 weeks. How am I going to do that? I'm going to try to set a goal to study for 1 hour a day to study my book for 1 hour a day, to listen to Dr. Pam, which is somebody who does studying online, listen to her video 10 minutes a day. And one other thing could just be to go over my notes for 5 minutes a day when I go to bed, right? So those are 3 things that I can do to accomplish passing my national counseling exam, which is actually going to give me the license to become a therapist, which then I can, in my next quarter of the year, talk about the steps that it's going to take to start building my clientele for my private practice, which is probably going to be posting multiple times on social media per week, going to different networking events, getting referrals. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to break your big goal up into smaller goals, and not only breaking those goals up, but actually putting them into actionable steps that you can accomplish every single day. Because having a dream board of, oh, I want to travel to Paris this year, and you don't have no idea how you go get there, you're not going to do it. If you do it, it's going to be by some miracle. But if you say, okay, I want to save $100 out of every single paycheck to go to Paris, I want, within the first 3 months of the year, I want to look up, different hotels to go to, different flights to take, plan out, how much my flights are going to be, how much my hotel is going to be, how much spending money is going to be. When you plan like that, you actually are intentional about setting a goal and accomplishing a goal, and actually not just throwing a goal out there and just hoping that it sticks. You really want to be intentional about yourself. And in 2025, we are not playing about ourselves. We are not playing about our goals, y'all. This year, I lost close to 100 pounds. Over the last 2 years, I lost over 100 pounds. But this year alone, I really hyper focused on weight loss. And I said, I am going to accomplish it no matter what. I talked about getting a personal trainer, and I did that as soon as I got a job. No lie. I was not joking about my weight loss. And that's something I had to be intentional about. So I just really encourage you to, while you doing your dream boards, while you having fun, picturing it and envisioning it, really write down the how it's going to happen. And lastly, and really honestly, most importantly, you really need to figure out who you need to become in order to accomplish those goals. So if you need to become a more disciplined person and you need to make, for example, working out a habit just like brushing your teeth is, don't make it an option. You need to figure out how I can become a person that works out every day. How can I become disciplined? Okay, maybe while watching my favorite show, I'm going to correlate something that I want to do with something that I have to do. I'm going to work out on the treadmill for 30 minutes while I watch my favorite show. Like, you need to figure out who you need to become in order to accomplish the goals. Actually, let's step back. Who you need to become in order to do the things that you need to do in order to accomplish the goals. It's so much more than like this surface level, like envisioning of where you want to be. It's about who you need to transform into. And if that requires prayer, if that requires you setting alarms on your phone, I have an alarm on my phone every day at 5 a.m. to say, mission lose 20 pounds this month, right? I have an alarm on my phone that says don't eat after 7 p.m. around like 6:30, so I know that the time is coming. Like, if that's something that you need to do, then that's something that you need to do. And you have to understand that who you want to become in the future is directly correlated with who you are growing into in the now. So I hope that video helped. I look forward to us all accomplishing our goals. I feel like 2025 is that year. It's the harvest year for us. And I just know we gonna kill it this year. So with that being said, have a good day. Like and subscribe for more.